What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and this one will break down what's going on with the overall market, what you should be watching for moving forward. I'm going to talk about some very important levels and what's happening to the market right now. But before I do anything like this, let me just mention a couple of things. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, so check it out before they run out. It ends in just 7 days. But anyways, let's talk about Tesla, what's going on with it. Tesla's down 0.5% as of right now, continuing to drop with the market. But the question is, how will the market move going forward? That's going to be based on what we're seeing right here in terms of the price action and very important levels. So looking at SPY, we formed a bearish divergence in the morning, a very, very beautiful looking one that was very clean. And then after forming that, right, the market was already gapping up very hard because there was lots of excitement about how the Fed said that they're not really like forecasting a recession. And then after that claim came out, the market just gapped up very nicely, but we failed to break our major resistance at this 460 area. Then on the 5-minute time frame, we actually fell below the 20 EMA. After falling below it, the market was failing to hold this support because this is what was holding up the market during the pre-market, or at least during the last like hour and a half of the pre-market. And then we failed to hold that. We failed to hold VWAP, and we continued to break lower support levels, and we continued to make lower highs and lower lows. After getting a small bounce, we ended up just failing, and we were trying to hold the 200 EMA, but that just failed as well because we have this big gap down below. The market's getting very close to it, so we're going to be watching, 456 is support, then a little bit lower than that into like the mid 450s, 455.5 or so, like around that area. We're actually getting very close to that zone right now. So I'm going to be looking for like a small bounce once we fill this gap. I don't think it's going to keep crashing. I'm going to look for a small bounce in the market, just try to like range around here for the majority of the day. Going forward. But going into tomorrow, we may continue to see more bearish momentum after these moves that are being made. However, by next week, I think things could change for the market as we have Apple's earnings, but we still have some time until then. And right now, the market is looking a little bearish. Let me just mention that on the 1 hour time frame, when we zoom out of these charts, we've been on a very, very nice uptrend on SPY for quite a while. So a very small pullback like this is completely normal. There's nothing wrong with it, and we shouldn't necessarily panic over anything like this. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, let's talk about something else that's important. Tesla's looking relatively weak, unfortunately. We're going to be watching these imbalances down here, but before we worry about them, we're just going to look at the next support level because Tesla has been doing a lot of selling anyways. So what happened to Tesla was we also gapped up with the market, but I warned you guys, if you want to turn bullish on Tesla, I was not truly bullish or bearish. I just wanted to watch for confirmation. And I told you that if you want to turn bullish, you want to see it break 270. And if it broke that, you're going to be watching 274. Looking at it, we actually got rejected off 269.98. So super close to 270. And we failed to break out. So then what happens? We had our next support zones to watch for. And Tesla failed to hold 268. It failed to hold 267.5. And it continued to sell off. It broke below the 200 EMA and it started to fill this gap down here, taking it to 265. That would have been our target if it continued to break out. And then after it failed to hold 265, our next important zone would be like 262.5. It came down to like the 263s, bounced a little bit, then came right back down to 262.5. It's currently in the 263 area, trying to bounce a little bit, but it's looking pretty weak so far. If it breaks below 262.5, you're going to be watching 260 flat. It could test all the way down there if it fails to hold this support. And then if it bounces, because it's trying to bounce right here, it's making an attempt to get above the 5 EMA. If it tries to get that bounce, you're going to be watching and trying to make its way up to like 264 or so. So we're just going to watch it carefully. For now, Tesla's trying to react just like the market, and the market is still looking relatively weak. However, like I said before on SPY, it came very close to our like 456 target, very close to like 455.5 as well. That's another possible target if that breaks for the small bounce to come. However, it's not the end of the world because there's going to be more selling going into tomorrow, in my opinion, and maybe later on. I will talk more about that later on, but for now, the market's still looking relatively weak, so we're going to be watching these very low levels. For Tesla, it's trying to hold around these levels, still looking kind of weak. Could this thing try to bounce? Now we're going to be watching it carefully. 262.5 is our area. If that fails, like I said before, it could get very close to 260. If it tries to bounce, we're going to be watching this like 264 area. So right now it's failing. It's still looking kind of weak. Let's hope Tesla tries to hold up. for now, it's still being dictated by the market as the market's selling off. What else is selling off is Apple. Apple got this big rug pull, which is what led the market down. And Apple is getting very close to its target around this like 194.5 area. That's where the like real major support, historical support, is going to be. We're watching this carefully, still looking kind of bearish, coming very close to its gap down here to fill it. Still looking very weak though. We're going to be watching these carefully. I don't expect a major bounce, but I'm just talking about the market trying to like hold up. The triple Q, it's also looking pretty weak. We have a lot of room for downside still, and tech may continue going lower. We have like a head and shoulders formation that formed right here, and we failed to hold 380. I told you guys we could see a test of 385 if we broke 383, and that's what happened in the morning. We got a nice pop, but then we didn't break 385, and we actually got a big rejection, and we failed to hold our support at 382. We failed the 200 EMA, and now we're testing the 380 support. That's going to be very important for the QQQ. If it breaks below this, there's going to likely be more downside to fill this gap very soon as well, especially for tomorrow. And then we're going to see what happens with Apple's earnings going into next week. But for now, tech is still looking weak, and this is completely healthy. As I mentioned before, the market's been pumping for so long. Nvidia is getting dragged down, but Nvidia has relative strength because the overall setup was looking bullish. I called this out as well. We had the nice inverse head and shoulder structure, very, very nice looking trend. On the 1 hour time frame, it looked quite nice as well. Right over here, forming like a cup and handle like formation. But the thing is, Nvidia is not prone to being impacted by the whole market. The market will still impact Nvidia no matter how strong it is. And it is what it is. There's not a whole lot we can do about it. Nvidia is now slowing down. We're going to be watching 468 and 466 on Nvidia. And then, if those fail, could drop a little bit lower. But for now, we're just watching it. For resistance, it has resistance very close to about 474. Then after that, we have like 478 to 480. Just watching these levels carefully. I don't think it's going to break out that high, but I think it's just going to range trade for the majority of the day. So we're just watching these levels, and that's basically what I have for this video. I do want to mention to everyone that yes, market could make an attempt to bounce off that very, very low level as the dollar is starting to drop a little bit. But the dollar pumping is the reason why the market was cooling off, or at least that played a big role in it. And if the dollar gets like, a small retracement helping the market bounce a little bit, then this thing starts, pumping again. That's going to slow the market down a little bit later. So when I talked about the bounce, we're going to watch 456 on spot, maybe 455.5 around there. See if we could get a small little bounce there. Maybe it's going to be very minor, but it's not going to be anything too significant. The market's still looking kind of weak. So then going into tomorrow, we could still see more downside anyways. All right, there's still going to likely be downside anyways. Approaching tomorrow, the market is still looking weak. And we're going to be watching for the 455s. After that comes 454.5, 453.5, these supports for tomorrow. And then everything could change going into next week when we have Apple's earnings. All right, so we're going to be watching these supports carefully, watch resistance as well, very, very carefully. And just know the market is still looking kind of weak. We're still waiting to see if support could hold. Tesla's still testing 262.5. It might even break below it temporarily. So we'll have to wait and see. But for now, the market is looking like it's just continuing to sell off. And we're going to watch and see how it reacts to these major levels. All right. So with that said, thank you for listening. Watch all these levels carefully. I am expecting more downside, especially for tomorrow, by the way. And we're just going to react to the charts, and I will talk more later on. All right. Have a good day, everyone. Do what you have to do. Tesla on the market to the moon as the long term is very bright. And peace out.